Here it is, everything you need to know about 1984, Part 2, Chapter 7. So Chapter 7 begins with Winston waking up from this dream with tears in his eyes. He tells Julia that he had actually believed he had killed his mother, but this dream brought back what happened because it brought up the last time that he had seen or looked at his mom. He was 10 or 12 at the time. His father had already disappeared, and we're not told why, but it was wartime, the beginnings of the revolution. People disappeared all the time. At any rate, life was difficult and food was not around. It was scarce. He would often have to scrounge through trash with other boys looking for food. Winston says that because of his father's disappearance, the life inside of his mother just kind of died, and she just went through the motions with him and his sister. He remembers constantly arguing and whining and even yelling at her for him to have more food, to have the bigger share. Often, though, he says that his mother would give him more than that they would have, his mom and sister would have, because he was older and bigger and the older boy. But he tells of one day when they got 2 ounces of chocolate as a ration, and that he starts complaining that he should get it all to himself. After a long argument about him not being greedy, his mother ends up giving Winston 3/4 of the bar and 1/4 to his sister and none for herself, right? When his sister just looks at the chocolate, not really knowing what's going on, we're told that he grabs hers too and runs for the door with his mother calling after him. He pauses at the door but does not stay. He goes outside and eats all the chocolate. He feels so guilty that he just kind of hangs around the streets for a couple of hours, but when he gets back, his mother and sister are gone. Everything is left as it was, nothing was taken, but they have disappeared. So he does not know what happened to them, right? He knows maybe they were taken and killed or they went to a prison camp, but he's not sure what their fate was. So to him, this is connecting to the previous dream he had of his mother with her arm around his sister as they were sinking in a ship and Winston was watching. This is where that dream came from, this actual memory of him standing outside the apartment with her mother giving a protective embrace to his sister because she was now without chocolate and it was all that she could do. So this memory of his mother's arm and sister being held, the mother holding the sister protectively, both in the memory and in the dream, it actually now connects to Winston remembering the film he saw that he wrote about in the diary with the woman putting her arm around the child in the lifeboat before the lifeboat was blown up. If you remember that, right, that really bothered him. And what's really striking to him is that the loss of human connection that there is and exists under the party's rule. These connections between human beings do not exist anymore inside the party. With the isolation that one feels as a party member, you can just be taken out anytime. You just can be plucked out of history and disappear, and you just don't exist because nothing you say or do or feel at all matters. So Winston realizes it's the proles that have stayed human, while those in the party have become dehumanized. He tells Julia the best thing they could do for survival for themselves is to part ways and never see each other again. But both say that they're never going to do that. Julia says she's going to stick with Winston, but not to worry as she thinks she's good at staying alive. He tells her that at some point they're going to be separated, and when they are separated, they cannot help each other. But Winston tries to reach for this human connection between them, right? Telling her that no matter what they do to them, they shouldn't betray one another. Julia tells him we're going to confess if we're tortured. Winston says he knows they're going to confess, but betrayal is different than confession, right? That the feelings are what matters, not what they say. And they can't make Winston stop loving Julia. Julia agrees that the party can't get inside you. They can't get inside your head and change how you feel. This is the hope that Winston holds on to, that no matter what they do to you in the ministry of love, they won't be able to know what's really going on in your head or what's being felt in your heart. So what do we take from this chapter? Well, really it's about Winston struggling with what it really means to be human and trying to hold on to that in light of the party's stranglehold and control over their lives. From what his memories have brought to him, he concludes that being human is about feelings and this interpersonal loyalty that one person extends to another, even if there's nothing to gain from it, even if nothing is changed by it. His mother embracing his sister didn't get his sister any chocolate, but it was a comfort. That was something. He knows that the party has worked to destroy this connectedness in its party members so that the only loyalty they have left is to Big Brother and the state. But Winston believes the proles have escaped this fate by remaining connected to each other, and they've remained human even though they have no power. So he desperately wants to believe that there is some human part left in him and Julia, which is why he tries so hard to emphasize that they should never betray their hearts and love for each other, no matter what confessions come out of their mouths. So maybe this chapter is partly about the human spirit and preserving and holding on to what it is to be human, and partly a warning, right, against those in power that might want to seek to destroy those things that make us uniquely human. It's a lot to think about. It's pretty deep. Hopefully that helps. If you have questions or comments down below, you can put them in the comment box. Other than that, we're going to see you next time. Thanks for watching.